I finally got to the moment. I won't tell you openly what moment it is, because a lot of you know what that is, and most of you did a very good job of hiding that moment from me, even though I knew about it because it was spoiled. It was spoiled, 1, due to chat, and it was spoiled, 2, due to it was solidified by Gigic's wife. But it's okay. It was still a traumatic moment. I wish it wasn't spoiled for me. Yes, but it's okay. It's okay. Did I cry? I did not. I did not cry. Actually, as a matter of fact, I got a little annoyed. I got a little annoyed that everyone was crying. I did not cry, on the other hand. But ultimately, it was still a very emotional moment because he is my favorite. Absolutely my favorite. After Zoro, of course. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, that's right. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted more. I wanted more of him. Does that make sense? I really, really, really wished that Ace was more prominent in the earlier places, in the earlier parts of the saga, because like he's so powerful, he's so cool. I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying that, like, well, you guys know who my favorite character is. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything. I'm just talking about, like, I'm wishing for more Ace in the earlier parts of the saga. Ace is a character on One Piece, and he is wonderful. So the Ace writing is crazy, dude. That is insane. If a deserves to be rode, it's Ace. How dare you? There's like going to be so much more later about like why Ace is the way he is or whatever. Because like leading up to that moment, I would go so far as to say that like it doesn't really talk about his development that much. Like his background is basically, oh yeah, my father is who he is, okay? And like everybody hates him, and that's why everybody hates me. I should have never been born. And I always felt like it wasn't. I always felt like that wasn't enough. Like I'm sure maybe it'll come later. I hope it comes later because like it left me with more questions. You know what I mean? It left me with more questions. It left me wanting more. But yeah, the Pirate War is incredible. It's great. It's the most slammed, content-filled, Oda at its best, perhaps maybe even too many different new characters introduced arc. So it was great. The other side of the story is obviously Whitebeard, who I thought was a really cool character as well, but it almost felt like, especially with Whitebeard, you get like bits and pieces of him throughout the entire saga. Like he's seen as the protector, right? What he's done for Fishman Island and all this stuff that gets like mentioned by other people, but his lore is never like really shown. I think, or you don't really get to see a buildup of his character before things happen. So maybe there will be some, like I'm literally at that point right now, so I don't know. I'm sure I'll see more. I have not finished the entirety of Marineford yet. So, thoughts on Jinbei? He's great. Love him. There aren't Did you ever comment on Doflamingo's speech on the nature of justice? Oh, of history written by the victors? Is that what you're talking about? Doflamingo seems like a very interesting character. I'm not like super fond of him, but I do like I'm sure that he will be like a very cool he will be very cool character overall. But like as far as where One Piece started and where it is now, 490 episodes deep, is so different. And yet, there is still a permanence between like what happened in the beginning with characters and character development and what I'm seeing 500 episodes deep. And that's what makes it really awesome, I think. That's why people like it a lot. Like, for example, I don't know what this means yet, but it clearly means something that everyone has a D in the middle of their names, right? And they basically give you like a little sneak peek of it. They give you a little sneak peek of what that means, like the will of D. I have a middle name that starts with a D, Hassan D. Piker, which, you know, is interesting to me on that front, But I find that really interesting that like from the start, you're writing this thing for 20 years and you're just keeping that a secret. What's wrong with you? Like that's like weird. That's too much. The manga didn't explain D yet too. 1,050 plus volumes. Maybe I'm wrong, but it literally feels like it's going to be like a national holiday when One Piece ends in Japan. Like I feel like it's so crazy. It's so ongoing, and it's I don't know. It's such a cultural thing out there, especially. But anime only watchers are not going to be able to avoid when One Piece is revealed in the manga. I want to catch up because there's no way to avoid spoilers at that point. There's a 6-hour YouTube video accounting how One Piece is the modern Odyssey. I mean, I think there's a lot of good, but then there's some weaknesses too. I think if I were to say, like, if I were to put Oda's flaws in storytelling, there are certainly some. Lamau, no shot. One thing that I mentioned that I certainly have now officially solidified in my mind, maybe it changes, in the next 1,000 episodes. All of Skypiea? No. I think Skypiea is underrated. The fan base doesn't like Skypiea. I liked Skypiea. It was a bit long, but I like Skypiea. I think Skypiea is great. I did not like Thriller Bark. I think Thriller Bark is significantly weaker of an arc than Skypiea. Okay? But then again, I do like politics. So, revolutionary, indigenous, militant group trying to win their land back and fight back violently to win their land back. You know what I mean? Like, that's, it's big. I'm big on that. But the other thing where are you still doing the thing where you skip filler eps? Yes, but One Piece surprisingly doesn't have that much filler. Like, people say One Piece has a lot of filler because it has a lot of episodes, but it doesn't have a lot of filler. It does sometimes get a little annoying with the pacing. That's it. I'm watching like 100 episodes plus with no filler in between. Nowhere near as bad as like Dragon Ball Z or whatever. Anyway, Oda's strengths are incredible character development and wonderful storytelling that like is interwoven through all of those awesome characters, right? They're super unique. They have a lot of there's so many really, really unique characters that you don't really get, right? Interwoven. Am I saying it wrong? Shut up. English is my second language too, okay? Secondly, I think Oda is not very good at building. I can't believe I'm about to say this. People are going to get mad at me. I don't think Oda is very good at doing like tactical fights. Boulder into the enemy over and over again. just boulder into the enemy over and over again. And at a certain point, I'm like, come on, dog. Like, let's say Ace is fighting Aokiji, right? I'm like, well, this is sick because, like, he is, he is a fire. He has a fire fruit, or it doesn't even, I don't even know if it's fruit or not, but like his power is fire. Aokiji's power is ice. That's like a perfect. That is literally like a perfect counter to one another, right? And you kind of see that with Eneru, right? They briefly allude to that, but that's the most you get. Eneru and Luffy, like that's the most you get. The fighting can be a little predictable at times. You know what I mean? You just like always expect them to, through the power of friendship, just boulder into the fight, or there's a new power that's unlocked within a character, and you're like, oh, that's sick, which is sick. Those powers are cool. Like hockey is a cool concept, and it is not even as offensively thrown in your face like JoJo did with stands. You know what I mean? I wish that there was more tactical fights, you know? I didn't say stands are bad. Yeah, I love JoJo. I just think, first of all, part of what I wish One Piece was like is that it would be like JoJo more. That's what I mean. Like, it would be the perfect, like, absolutely perfect, 100% perfect anime if it also had a little bit more tactical fights. But yeah, Oda is really, really cool at, writing political anime and talking about, slowly but surely feeding you a worldview that is evolving through the lens of like a goofy kid who basically starts recognizing that, like, there is perhaps a reason why he is always finding himself against the Marine Corps, At first, it doesn't really make sense. Like, the Marines are like kind of funny, kind of funky, kind of stupid, kind of silly. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of corruption, but then you feel like that corruption, like with the Zoro arc, you're like, oh, that corruption must be just like a one-off, right? Because we're all also conditioned to see works of art where police are seen as like the good guys always, right? But then at this point, you're like, these are bad guys, and the entire world government is bad. How is this stream has become literally so spineless? I miss the old Hossie. We are literally doing a filler right now for a political stream. Do your job, filling right now. Okay. I'm just going to do this really quickly. First of all, easiest band of all time, hairstylist for Ted Cruz. This is, for all of you who are watching right now, this is a very important announcement. Take your medication. Okay? Take your medicine. Take your medication. I haven't done a One Piece update in a long time. This was a pretty big part of the One Piece lore. Okay?